In a previous video, where we were talking about scales, if I'm not wrong, I promised you that I would um, give you more information about why um, I don't necessarily agree with this, and to be more exact, how do kids react to such exercises? So I'm going to give you a very good example from my own personal life for you to understand. As many of you know, I have two daughters. And back when we used to live in Europe, Romania, in our home country, before we moved here to Abu Dhabi, UAE, they were going to one of the national colleges of music from Bucharest, from the capital city. The name of the college is Georgenescu from Bucharest. Okay. In that college, you have the option of choosing your own piano teacher. Usually the school assigns a teacher, but you can choose it. You can choose him, you can choose her. You can choose them if you know them, for example. Let's say you are colleagues and you decide that he or she is the best option for your child. You know them, you grew up together maybe, etc. You have the option of creating a written request for that teacher. Before my daughter started, I inquired quite a lot between my friends, between my colleagues, ex-colleagues, and so on. And I found someone that I was very pleased with, that I thought was amazing, because the results of its students were amazing when it came to competitions, stage, etc. And my daughters were going there to study professionally, not for pleasure. Let's make that very clear. However, they were very small and they were just at the beginning of the road. We started, and in less than 2 months, my daughter started not wanting to go to piano classes. The way that school is arranged is one part of the school is on one street and one part is on another street, and you have to go around the boulevard in order to get to the other side of the school. I know it's very strange, but that's how it is there. And I used to pick my girl up from school at, I don't know, during lunch, and I would take her on the other street for her to have her piano lesson. She started being very sad, like not wanting to go, like not in the mood. And little by little, this progressed into her crying all the way there, walking and crying, walking and crying. And I kept speaking to her. At the beginning, she didn't really want to tell me what was happening, but in the end, she said, I don't like it. I don't like the teacher. All we do is scales and exercises. I don't really play anything. He tells me to do it at home alone. So the teacher was actually giving her all sorts of exercises. Mind you, she was in first grade. She was 7 years old. And when it came to the actual songs that she was about to play, which were exercises as well at that age, let me make that very clear. He didn't really do it with her anymore. Like, he showed her, like, fast, and then he would send her home. And it wasn't just with her because I was a piano teacher. It was with all of her colleagues. It was the same. Other than this, she was insulted. The teacher was sarcastic. He told her she had crooked teeth. He told her she was fat. He even dared to do that in front of me and my husband. And the child was sitting there next to us when he was doing that, when he was saying those things. So for me, it was a shock that a teacher that came so highly recommended would do something like that to a child. First of all, it's unforgivable to treat a child like that. I do not agree with that, and I would never do that myself. People like that have no business being teachers, should not be dealing with kids, with anyone really, with human beings. And second, a child that age should not be studying scales. I'm sorry, but I'm right. Even if you're studying professionally in an escort party, at that age, yes, they should do some exercises. They should tackle exercises. I'm not saying they should not, but exercises from a beginner's book like Chernovodano in our country, which is an amazing beginner's book that I use even here in UAE for piano players. Not scales. That child should learn how to love that instrument, should learn how to get closer to that instrument, to want to play. If that child is pushed straight away into that draconic type of exercise, as soon as they sit down at the piano, what are you expecting? Of course, they are not going to want to see you again. Of course, they are not going to want to study at home. Who would want that? That child has barely developed the cognitive possibilities, capabilities to pay attention. And you're forcing him or her to pay attention to something super boring, because let's face it, scales are boring. And yes, they are necessary, but for kids that are older, as a warm-up. She did not need that type of warm-up. She was too small. She didn't even know how to play the piano, for Christ's sake. Why would she need a warm-up? So, in situations like this, no, I don't agree with scales. And kids are going to protest, and so they should. And you're just going to lose them. And my problem is not that you are going to lose them as a teacher. Serves you right. My problem is that you are going to scare them away from this instrument. You are going to make them feel like this instrument is not for them, they're not good enough, or they just don't like it, which is wrong. It's so wrong. I've had kids that were scared, discovered the fact that they still wanted to try years later, found another teacher, me in this case, and now they're applying for the conservatory. So I think that the way you treat a child says a lot, but I think it says more about us than about that child and their parents.